This is my favorite way of cutting long hair. It lets you keep the length, create a lot of movement in the interior, allow her to have versatility in her styling, but without seeing the graduation from one layer to the next. About 1 inch in depth, and again from the corner of the eye, which is right here, to the corner of the eye, I want her layers to start just swinging just below her chin. And this will establish my guide. I'm going to take the same section and I'm going to point cut it just to soften it up. So my next section, I'm going to move over to the back. And I'm going to go to the crown area and create my next length. So I'm going to take a section about 2.5 inches in width and about 1 inch in depth. I want her layering to start at about shoulder level. So I'm going to take the section, my fingers positioned horizontal, and I'm going to point cut. Then I'm going to take the same section, point cut to soften the edges, utilizing the length of my blade, just like we did with the other haircut. So I'm going to point cut deep. And this is based on the density and the texture. So if you have somebody with really thick hair, you may want to go in 2 or 3 times, 4 times. If you have somebody with fine hair, you may go in once. Now to further open that up and create more movement, I'm actually going to go in with my scissors and gliding, using the interior of my scissor, going in and closing and coming up. So my next section, I'm going to take from the crown, over direct, to the front, find your connection points, and point cut. Find your length and point cut. So I will separate the sides. So we're going to go to the center and take a vertical section. I'm going to pull this out, and as my length starts to drop, I'm going to point cut. And I'm going to take the same section and bring it straight out at a 90 from the head and point cut. I'm going to take my next section from the crown This last section behind the ear is slightly over-directed back. I'm going to go right to the center and take a vertical section. And this is where I'm going to connect the back to the top to hold this straight out from the head. My finger positioning is important because you still have to make sure that your fingers are pointing down so you have control. And you can see my connection point. So I'm going to slide my comb out and I'm going to connect from the length to the shortest point in the crown. I'm going to point cut. Using the entire length of my blade, I'm going to bend my fingers and cut the interior. And then from the crown, I'm going to take a pie-shaped section. I'll show you. I'm And I'm actually just gonna pick it up and lift it straight off the head. Find my length and start to point cut, creating an angle. So I'm working my way up. I'm gonna comb over that same section again. So we're gonna go back to the crown. From the crown to the front of the ear, and then from the crown to temple. Find your length. I'm gonna point cut. And point cut. Actually, I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna take the entire side, bring it together. So now I have the whole side. I'm gonna over direct all of this back. I'm gonna point cut from my length, working my way up to connect to the top area. Over direct it back. Connect from the length. I'm gonna take a section going into the hairline about 1 inch. And working from a center part. I'm gonna take this section, over direct it forward. And connect to the shortest point. Do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm just gonna even everything out. I'm gonna just take her skinny little ends off. And she doesn't have many, and I'm just actually just gonna cut straight across, over directing her sides back. I'm just gonna pull everything forward. And then just clean up the front area and do a little point cutting. This is the most non-boring way of cutting long hair, creating layers, creating movement, and best of all, maintaining all the length.